Now, I think calling pitches is a very big responsibility. I don't think this is something that should be taken lightly. I am all for letting guys develop. I'm all for handing over that responsibility if they're ready for it. But if they're not ready for it, man, there's nothing bigger in the game that we can screw up. So I think for us to do that, it's a give and take. We'll give you the responsibility, but you also have to be ready for it. So what does that mean when a catcher is ready for that responsibility? Number one for me, he can put together well-organized thoughts. Okay, for me, a well-organized thought is if you ask a catcher, hey, why did you call that pitch? I think we've all asked somebody that question before, and you get the deer in the headlights look. Uh, it, it I don't know. It sounded like the right pitch at the time. That's a bad answer. That's not a well-organized thought. If a catcher can say, well, we attacked the hitter this time, the first at-bat, the second bat he did this, and the third at-bat he did this, I know his strength is that. If they put together a well-organized thought, something that has conviction behind it, that's a very good sign that they're thinking in the right direction. They're able to call pitches on their own. Next, it says he can, and can is crossed out. It says he does remember batters, sequences, and at-bats. I said we crossed out the word can because this is not an IQ question. It doesn't mean you have to have an IQ of 150 to call pitches, but you need to be able to, or you need to actually remember what guys did before. If you're in the fourth inning and you tell your catcher, hey, we got 3, 4, and 5 coming up, what did the 3-hole hitter do last at bat? If he goes, I don't know. That's not a very good sign. And I think we'd be surprised how often that happens and how often catchers just don't remember, pitchers don't remember. We have to be able to remember sequences. Now, I don't think after a game we should ever ask a catcher, hey, you need to recite in order all 128 pitches that were thrown during the game, but they should be able to have a pretty good idea of what pitches were thrown to which hitter in which order. Same thing with your at-bats. If you have 4 at-bats, after a game, if you're thinking and you're in the game, you should be able to say, my first at-bat, they started off with this, they followed it with that, and they went back to this. And if you can't do that, man, I have a hard time handing over that big responsibility of calling pitches. Next, I have he's not selfish. What does selfish mean? For me, a selfish catcher is, hey, the leadoff hitter got on, what are we going to do to the next batter? If you just feed him fastball after fastball after fastball because you're scared of him running, that's selfish. That's you looking after yourself. That's not necessarily looking after the team. We have to call the pitch that is appropriate to get the hitter out, not always just to give us an easy pitch to throw on. Okay, so I'm calling that selfish or not. And then lastly, he can read hitters. Now, I kind of have mixed emotions about this. I think when we're behind the plate, I think we can absolutely see what the hitters are doing. I don't know if we can see everything that goes on in his swing, and we can see all the holes, but they should be able to tell you, hey, he's really late on this, he's early on this, he does not feel comfortable in the box when we throw these type of pitches. He should be able to tell you with some level of certainty what's going on in the hitter's mind and what's going on in his at-bats, okay?